So I'm sure you've seen today it was the spring budget, and today we're going to go through the impact that is currently going on with the UK economy. Now, most of the media coverage at the moment is going towards the cuts in welfare. There was significant cuts to the welfare and the return to austerity for a lot of the UK, which is not what you want to see. And it's probably worth a video on its own, but we are obviously a stock market economic channel. So today we are going to be focusing on the economic impact from the budget. Now, what we saw in October was the autumn budget. The concerns around the autumn budget was this is bad. This is going to have a major impact on the UK economy, and there was fears out there. And since the autumn budget, we've seen the concerns with many businesses out there saying that we're scared about what's going to happen. The consumer confidence has gone down. We've seen many companies come out with profit warnings and the concerns of that. We've seen many businesses say they're cutting thousands of jobs. And this is the impact. We're having people lose thousands of jobs from that horrible budget. And we knew it was going to be bad. You know, me here in this office, I came out and I remember making videos and I was saying to you guys, this is a major concern. And what we've seen today in the spring budget is the latest figures as well from the Office for Budget Responsibilities. They've updated the figures and the numbers that are in there are scary bad. Like, we knew it was going to be a car crash, but it's been a car crash and the fire has just started to go out a little bit. And what we've had is Rachel from accounts come back over with a big tub of petrol and poured it back on the car to set it on fire again. It's majorly concerning. And I still to this day right now, I'm so concerned that the people that are in power and also some of the forecasts as well are not able to see this happening and forecast this happening. And me in this office here are able to predict this quicker than what these guys are doing and not reacting to it. And today was an opportunity. Today was an opportunity in the spring budget for Rachel Reeves to throw some confidence back into the UK economy. It was a chance to go, you know what, we maybe went a little bit hard in that autumn budget and hopefully put a few things that will start stirring a little bit of confidence into the UK economy. That's what we need. You know, the UK economy needs growth. Ultimately, if you want more money to do things in the UK economy, you need growth. Growth is your biggest driver to success in the economy. If you have growth in your economy, everyone benefits from it, because what you have is you have more people in jobs, more people getting more money because there's competition for people in hiring. If everybody has more confidence in the jobs, there's more jobs available, people getting paid more money. Do you know what they're going to do? They go out and then they spend more money, and then all those businesses do even better, and then they return that into tax into the government. You know what the government can go do with those tax? They can then go feed that into the ladder of the education system, the healthcare system. But what you do is if you kill that all off, you've got less money coming in, and then what you're going to do? Well, all the money that you thought you were going to get that you could go spend on all these things, you haven't got it because the economy isn't growing as fast, or it's even contracting. And when we look at the numbers today, we are seeing major contractions in the economy. Major contractions. So what happened as well is the Office for Budget Responsibility also came out with a report. It was 180 pages. I had a quick scan of it to save you guys, and I've just picked out some of the really big numbers that kind of showed how bad the economy is getting in the UK right now. So the first number, and Rachel Reeves obviously announced this probably around about 12:30 when she was doing the speech. I was watching it on BBC, and I was like, I had a cup of tea in my hand and I spilled it when she said the numbers out loud. So at the moment now, they're expecting GDP growth at 1% this year. That has halved since the October forecast. That is scary. That is scary. To halve the GDP growth in under half a year is insane. We knew the budget was bad. We knew it was bad, and we knew it was really going to affect the businesses, the confidence. Sometimes this is a big thing as well, you know, with the economy. It's about feeding confidence into the consumer. If you feed confidence into the consumer, they'll go out and spend. But before we even had, this is the thing, is that the autumn budget, the worst impacts haven't even come in yet. So the fact that it's slowing down this much just on the fear of it is scary. And the thing is this as well, is if they came in with such a more positive tone about the economy, people are a lot more willing to spend. Businesses are a lot more willing to spend if they feel a lot more confident. Half the time it's conveying confidence that will get the economy going. And because they were so negative about it, this is the consequence of it. And as we see here, GDP growth has fallen in half, which is just absolutely crazy. So growth in the UK has absolutely collapsed. And I would also, this is how fast these forecasts can go wrong. And it made me laugh because during this, Rachel Reeves spent a lot of time going, well, don't worry, because by the end of the parliament, we're going to be in a good place. And it's like, well, if you're on the floor, there's only one place you can go. You've got so easy comps if we're not growing at all. I would hope so in 5 years' time that we've grown slightly. But right now, the actual growth forecasts have actually been absolutely gate crashed. The next thing is CPI. So what we saw is the government brought in loads of impacts onto businesses. And the only way the businesses can absorb this is by passing it onto the consumer. The only way you do that is by increasing your prices. And that means inflation is going back up. Now, the last thing, everyone, the everyday person out there, working class, middle class, the last thing they want to see is going down to the shop and once again, they go buy something from the shop and the price has gone up again. We've just went through 2022, 2023 of that being awful for the consumer. The last thing we want to see happen is prices start going up again. Now, you could argue the case. Some of it maybe could have done better. Some of it was a little bit out of the last UK government's hand. But overall, it was a little bit out of control of what they could do. No, maybe 50% could have been done a little bit better from the last government, for sure. But this is all chosen by Rachel Reeves to get inflation back up. She's chosen for businesses to put their prices up because of the big tax she's doing on them. They have to pass it on. All this inflation has been caused by Rachel Reeves. And what's going to happen is we've just gone through a big cycle of everything, your everyday shopping going up, and now it's going back up again. And if we actually have a look at the inflation forecast, we're now actually expecting inflation to go back up to a peak of 3.8% in July 2025. 3.8%. That is over double from where this government came in, which is just unacceptable. This is what we mean by the government. They need to be focused on the everyday person. The everyday person needs to feel like they have confidence that their job is still going to be there, and the everyday thing that they do or buy, they don't notice the everyday thing going up every single time. But yet we've got a government that's choosing to put this inflation pressure back onto the consumers again, which is just absolutely nuts. And also, let's not forget the pressure that it's putting on businesses to once again have to hike up the prices once again. Now, obviously, if you have businesses that are having to put prices up again or the taxes are getting increased, what you're going to have is unemployment increasing. And once again, today, the unemployment figures, absolutely awful. As you can see here, that the unemployment rate is now expected to peak at 4.5%, 1.6 million people. This is now 0.4 percentage points higher. That means 160,000 people extra. All these people here have lost the jobs because of Rachel Reeves. Now, it's okay putting the living wage up and saying, well, we're giving these guys a pay increase. Okay, yeah, it's great that they've got a pay increase, but look at the consequence. The consequences of your action now means an extra 160,000 people are going to lose their jobs now in the next year because of these tax increases. And we knew it was going to happen because you can't keep putting... All these businesses have just had to go through these extra costs of having to do inflation, all the last wages, the big corporation tax from the last government. And now we've got another government in that are making it harder for businesses. And this is the thing, is that the biggest thing that people need in the UK is a confidence measure, is to know that their job is there the next day when they get up. But because of these impacts that this current government are putting on, that's certainly not the case, which is another scary figure. Next thing, mortgage rates. Now, I've said this multiple times on this channel, is that this is the next thing. I talked about that people want to know the job's safe. People want to go into the supermarket and once again not seeing the weekly shop going up a crazy amount. The other big impact, as well as energy prices, I'm not going to mention that too much today, but apart from energy prices, is mortgage rates. What we've had in the last 5 years, maybe not even 5 years, 4 years, 3 years, is we saw mortgage rates go from a relatively low number to double, triple the mortgage rate. Now, for the average person, a double or triple up of the mortgage rate is a lot of money. We're talking hundreds and thousands of pounds extra that they're having to pay. Now, few people argue the case, well, if you took a mortgage on, you should always be aware that your interest rates can go up and you might have to pay this extra amount of money, monthly payments, and as well as that, you're always like vetted to make sure that you can afford it. And that's all true. But realistically, do people plan that's going to happen? Not really. And should people expect it to happen? I don't think so. Now, yeah, relatively we've had low interest rates historically, but they should not go up double, triple in a 2, 3 year, 4 year time period. That should not happen to people that quickly. And that's what happened. Interest rates have gone up so rapidly where people have gone from these low interest rates to these incredibly high interest rates. And that's equaling to the average family having to pay hundreds and thousands extra a month on their mortgage payments. Now, what has happened is we've gone from those lower interest rates up to those higher interest rates, and the average rate now is to go from 3.7% mortgage rate in 2024 up to a 4.7% interest rate in 2028. So there's so many people going on these higher interest rates right now, and all these people are having, what you're having right now is all these family incomes are getting squeezed. And it's okay talking about, oh, well, you can have that extra pence here, this extra pound here. One of the big payments that people are feeling are these interest rates on their mortgages. That's a big chunk of their wage that's going. And the priority of this government here, and I said this 6 months ago, the priority of this government here, the number one priority should be getting the mortgage interest rates down for people. Because that's where so many houses, the working class, the middle class, are losing hundreds and thousands of pounds right now. That should be their key thing. That should have been their number one priority 6 months ago. And if you got the mortgage payments down 6 months ago for people, everyone would feel a lot more confident now. Because everybody right now, if this was the aim 6 months ago in autumn time, right now in Easter, right, as we head into Easter, right, everybody would have had so much confidence because they'd be going, oh, look at mortgage rates coming down. I'm remortgaging my mortgage and now I've got an extra £200, £300 a month to go spend on things. That £200, £300 that go spend on things, that would once again cycle into taxes that come into the government can go spend things. But clearly, I don't know how these people come into power that don't realise what the average person needs out there. And what we're seeing once again is a upgraded forecast where the rate that people pay on mortgages has once again gone even higher. And the reason why it's going higher, because inflation is going up. When we look at the new inflation forecasts that have come out, the new inflation forecasts are expected to go to 3.8% in July. Well, the problem is if your inflation forecast is going up to 3.8% in July, what you're going to have is then you're not going to have the interest rate cuts. The Bank of England cannot cut interest rates because inflation is going up again. And why is inflation going up again? Well, the reason why is because you've just slapped all these taxes on businesses, and the businesses are having to put their prices up because of the inflation. And it's just a vicious cycle. And today, it's just a recap of, I would like to say something different, but I told you so. I told you this was going to happen 6 months ago when we saw the budget, and yet today we have more clarity that, yeah, that's what's happening. The budget was awful 6 months ago, and the impacts now is that GDP growth has fallen in half. We've had inflation is going even sky higher than where we were previously. Interest rates are not coming down. Job losses are going up. All the numbers are going in the wrong direction. And yet, all she did today is come on and go, everything's going really well, guys. I told you everything that we did 6 months ago would work out really well. She hasn't even got the... I'm going to say something else that I can't say on YouTube. She hasn't even got the coconuts to come out and admit, yeah, you know what, we've messed up, and now we're going to actually go in the right direction. She gave nothing. She gave nothing to the UK working class, to the UK middle class. She gave nothing to them. How many times do we see governments come in and they ignore the biggest proportion of people out here? They just don't help them. And that's when are we going to get a government that actually comes out and helps that majority of people there, rather than ignoring their main issues of energy costs, the main issues that every time they have to go do the shopping, the average weekly shop's gone up again. The fact that when they're having to do the remortgaging is going up by hundreds and thousands of pounds, and yet and then we've got a government coming in and making it even worse for them. I just don't understand how that she had the audacity today to come out and go, yeah, we're doing a really good job, look at how well we're doing. She couldn't even admit how bad it's gone, and yet today she didn't even offer anything to even improve the situation at all, which is just insane. And you know, people think that it's just the current government that I don't like. I think there's been a lot of poor governments, um, especially some in the last couple of years have been very poor. But this government here, I just there's always been governments where I criticise them and they've done things wrong and some things massively wrong. I've just never seen a government do so much wrong, so much wrong. Whether it seems so purpose that they're going in the wrong direction, like they're not even trying it. I posted on the Discord earlier today and I said it's like a car crash and then Rachel Reeves has run out and gone, you know what? I'm not actually going to help you. I'm actually going to pour a ton of petrol on top of the car and make it worse. There's just nothing here to support anyone, and it was shocking, absolutely terrible. But I'd like to. The thing is that I always like to finish the videos on a positive, and I don't. In fact, the only thing I can say is that it's probably going to get worse because half of the autumn budget impacts that she put in actually don't actually happen until April, to next month really, and all the big increases in the NI, and it's probably going to get worse for everyone, worse for businesses. So it's it's not good anyway. Anyway, bit of a rant video. Thanks for watching. See you in a bit.